This is an Ark Survival Evolved beginner's guide. I'm going to talk you through how to get started, how everything works, how to make some basic tools, how to get your house going, how to tame dinosaurs. Let's get right into it. So you can press Join Ark in order to look through the servers. And the way that this works is you can actually swap servers if it's of the same type. So if you're in a PvP official, you can swap to a different in a PvP official. Doing this will retain your character. This is assuming you want to play online. So there's a lot of different options, guys. If you want to play online, if you're a social player, then you're absolutely going to want to find a server. There are so many servers with so many players. I don't know if you know or not, a lot of people play this game. So anyway, there's PvE servers, PvP servers. You know, you see your ping, so make sure you pick one that is close to you and has good ping ideally, so it's better to pick from those. It'll show what map it is, so like the Ragnarok map or Lost Island, and it'll have other, like, you know, descriptive information like small tribes and stuff like that. Also, small tribes, if you don't know what that is, small tribes is a PvP server where your tribes can only have 6 players, and tribes are basically like guilds, clans, you know, that type of thing. They can only have 6 people in them, so that's like another type of server to think about. If you're brand new and you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to want to go to a PvE server. On PvP, players can destroy your bases. You're going to just log on every day and your base is going to be messed up, because any game like this, Minecraft, any type of open world game where you can just run and do stuff, people grief. It's just what happens on PvP servers. It's just life. Some servers have offline raid protection. What this does is makes it so 15 minutes after you log off, then your base will not be able to be destroyed. So if you want to play on PvP but don't want to deal with your base always being destroyed, then join a offline raid protection server. Another thing you can do is try to find an unofficial server. You can do that with this drop down right here and go to unofficial servers. And on unofficial servers, you can find servers potentially that have faster, you know, XP rates or whatever. They'll, you know, they'll describe it in the name of the server usually. So, you know, you can get faster taming, faster, whatever, you know, you can get, everything can be modified and changed. There's also over here says if it has mods or not, but it's enough about servers, okay? So, you know, find a server, PvE server, whatever, or if you want to play by yourself and you don't want to join a server, there's an option for that. You hit host//local. You can make your own server. You can pick the map, and I already have one on this map, so like my save on this map can be different than this one. You can delete that file data and make new ones, whatever. You can go to advanced settings on the server that you're setting up for yourself. You can also change the difficulty level. You can change the XP multiplier. Like, you can do a lot of stuff. So you can basically do all the stuff we just talked about, but on your own server. And then you can play in single player. You could run a dedicated server that your friends would be able to join, and a non-dedicated session. So for this, I'm just going to go ahead and do single player. We're going to talk about how to get started in this game. Also, it's important to know the different maps, and when you go to do them, you'll have to install the different ones. And what do is you go back to the Steam page and install. If you install the maps, this game's like 300 gigabytes or something. It's insane. Now, some maps are harder than others. If you are an actual beginner, the island is the easiest map. After that, the center is decently easy. Ragnarok, it's harder. And then Valguero or whatever is even harder than that. So I'm going to do a new one and play single player. And I'm going to make a new character. So when you get to the character select, it's all just sliders and stuff, and you can save the preset. So you can change the skin color. There's a bunch of different stuff. You can also change male, female, obviously. But the funniest thing is, I mean, you can do really funny stuff like gigantic head size, and then, you know, it's funnier on the female one, and then little tiny body. If you are into PvP, the PvP meta is to make yourself as small as possible. Literally everything as small as possible. But you can also instead just make yourself look like a behemoth troll monster, you know, like on old Dark Souls games, you know, where you make it look insane. So that is character creation. You can do a lot of hilarious stuff with that. When you're all done, if you like it, you can always save it as a preset and name it, so that way you could later load it as a preset, so you can just like really quickly pop that in on it. If you want to make a new server, new character on a new server, you don't have to redo all the sliders every time. And then you can pick the spawn regions where you want to first start off, and you can change this later. And where that highlighted part is where it'll take you, although there's supposed to be a map so you can see where this goes, so that's not right. But at least if your map is there, you're able to see where it's going to put you. And then you can name yourself whatever you want to make it, and then, you know, create new. I'm going to go Southeast Zone 1 and then create new survivor. So you come in like this, and now what do we do now, right? That's the $1 million question. What the hell happens now if you're actually a real beginner to this game? So where do we even begin? All right, so default keys. There are key bindings that you can check out in here, and by default, it's going to be the letter I to open your inventory, or V, because inventory and crafting is on the same thing. So V would be go straight to crafting, I would go straight to inventory, and then you got inventory crafting. They're the same menu. You also got other stuff up here. You got your engrams, your tribe manager, your taming, so it's like whether animal groups and things. But right now, let's look at the inventory. So I forgot I actually made my character look at that. Okay, so here's your stats. Here's your XP. So XP goes up by doing pretty much literally anything. It'll even go up by just being alive. So yeah, you can literally just stand around and slowly gain XP, which obviously has fall off later on when you need like thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of XP to level up. Being just alive is not going to cut it. Other things you can do is you can punch things. You can, I'm not actually sure if picking things up. Oh, I guess picking things up gives XP. Okay, I wasn't 100% on that actually. So yeah, punching wood will give you XP, and you'll be able to make tools here in a moment. We'll talk about. But in order to make the first tools, first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab stones, and you're going to punch at a tree or a root or whatever. Get some thatch, get some wood. It's just, you'll see it on the left what you got added. And then once you have enough, you can go to your inventory, go to the crafting tab, and you can make a stone pick. Now, I leveled up just now from doing that. So in order to actually claim the level up, I have to pick what I want to level up. Now, this is like the beauty of Ark Survival Evolved. It's one of the real, true survival games in a sense where you can really build your character however you want. And there's a few different ways to build depending on what you're doing. You know, if you're in PvP, you're going to want a lot of health. You may want a lot of stamina. You may want a lot of movement speed, depending on what you plan to be doing, how you plan to be doing PvP. And this is like a group game, a multiplayer game. So if you're playing with friends, you can figure out who's going to do what. So you could be like, all right, well, I'm just going to be the explorer. So I'll just get movement speed and stamina and health or something. Someone else will be like, well, I just want to craft and gather things. So they're just going to up their weight so they can carry more stuff and maybe increase. But it's really like if you're really just going to stand around crafting, that's probably all you're going to. I mean, you need crafting skill too, would also be nice. So, there's different ways you can build depending on what you think is going to be relevant for you. In this test, I'm just going to go all movement speed because I like being fast. When you claim your level, it'll give you engram points. You'll see the bottom left, I have 8 engram points right now. And also, every level that you gain, you'll unlock new crafting recipes that you can spend those engram points on. So you are limited on what you can get. You can't just get everything, basically. Because, like right now, I have 8 points, but this is 3, 3, 3, so I can't get all 3 of these. I can only pick 2. So I will pick the stone hatchet. I'm going to learn it. Now I can make stone hatchet in the crafting menu. I am going to learn spear. Now I can make a spear in the crafting menu. And now when I'm done with that, I can go back over to my inventory. I can go to crafting, and now I can make these things. So the stone hatchet is going to use flint and thatch and wood. And now that I have that pickaxe, I can go back to my inventory, and I can take the pick, and I can put on my hotbar here. And now I can press the key, which is 1 in this case, to pull it out. And I can now blow up a tree with this, which will give me a ton of thatch. Now, tools. A pick will give you more thatch than wood. Or on a rock, it will give you... I actually forget which one it was. What it gives more of. Can I even... Oh, I can't hit this rock. Okay, so the pick gives way more flint than it does stone, which is good because we really needed some flint. So now you go and you make your stone hatchets, double-click it, and it'll put on the crafting key. You can double-click and stack up like 3 of them if you want. Also, I'm going to get movement speed, and now I can get more stuff. We'll talk about clothes in just a second. So now we have the hatchet. Put the hatchet on. All right, hatchet. So hatchet will give different resources from everything. Now I'm more likely to get stone, less likely to get flint, and trees are more likely to give wood and less likely to give thatch. So you can kind of choose your materials. And these also apply to animals, or dinosaurs. If I kill a dinosaur, one of these will give more hide, less meat, and one of them will give more meat, less hide. And you can kind of get a recap of this if you just mouse over the tool. For example, the stone hatchet is good for harvesting wood from trees, stone from rocks, and skin from bodies. So if you need a reminder before you hit something, just go ahead and mouse over it like that. So we need to talk about clothes. And the reason we need to talk about clothes is because there's a temperature outside. Right now, it's 16 Celsius, which I don't know, is that like 60 Fahrenheit, 70 Fahrenheit? I don't know the offhand conversion. So it's okay outside right now on the game. So I'm okay. But on some regions, some maps, some areas of maps and different things, you can get different temperatures. It may get so hot that it's literally killing you, or it may get so cold that you are freezing to death. When this happens, your health will slowly tick down depending on the severity of the temperature difference. And you can change that by making clothes. So every one of these will give armor, and it'll also give hypothermic insulation and hyperthermic insulation. So hypo for cold and hyper for hot. So making these clothes and putting them on will make you more resistant to the elements. So if you find yourself just dying and you don't understand why, it's probably because of the temperature. So be sure to check that. Also, in order to get fibers, put your tool away, find any kind of bush-looking thing, and hold E by default, right next to the WSAD keys, E. And that is the default key at least, and it'll make you pick up berries, which will also give you fibers. So this is a lot of relevant stuff. So the fibers we can use for the clothes, and the berries we can use to stay alive. But be careful with the berries. So eating, we have food, we have water, we have oxygen. Berries, you can just consume them one at a time. You press E on them like this, or you can drag them onto your bar and then spam it in order to use them. And that will consume them, and then your food will tick back up. You can kind of stockpile. You just eat a bunch, and then your food will go up instead of down for a while. But be careful, because some of these things can cause dehydration. Some of these things, especially narco berries, are the one to really be aware of. You will pass out if you eat a bunch of narco berries. It'll make you fall asleep, which is relevant to taming later on, which we'll get to in a little bit in this video. But that shirt, right? We have the fibers now, so we double click and we craft ourselves that shirt. So now we'll put that shirt on, and it'll make us more resistant to the elements. So right click, equip, or just press E, and boy, I just look beautiful. Look at that. My goodness. All right, so there you go. Now this person is more resistant to the elements, which will be really helpful at night or during the day in some environments, depending on the map that you pick. So depending on what's going on, one thing that is advisable would be to not get, like, you can make a thatch house, but thatch is garbage, and most animals, aggressive animals, will just destroy it. So it's recommended, if you can withstand it, to just go and harvest things and do things till level 11 and 12 when you get wooden stuff. So if you feel like it, what would be smart to do, it would be just spawn in and just harvest resources and then throw them on the ground. So literally just or just go, and if you see any animals that look like they won't fight back, just kill them real fast, and you'll just gain XP. You can also actually, instead of throwing them on the ground, just craft stuff too. So just craft a bunch of stuff and just keep on gathering and just keep doing this until you are level 11, and then just go straight to making a wooden house instead of making thatch. You'll still have to buy these thatch engrams in order to get the wooden ones because they're prerequisites, but the thatch, it'll just save you effort of building a thatch house and then just replacing it with wood. Although, do get the storage box. You'll need that regardless. That's going to be a really good one to get. Also, water skins are really nice. You can store water in them, so you don't have to actually run to a water source when you need water, which, again, in the inventory, we have the water thing, and I'm slowly running out of water, as you can see right here. And again, some foods will increase thirst. So what you can do is you can head over to water and press E in order to drink. But if you have a water skin, what you can do, whoops, not that, over to this, I can't craft it because I would need hide. But if I have a water skin, I can go over to it. I can have the water skin on my hotbar and then, use it on the water. And then the water skin will have water in it. Water skins will slowly leak the water, though. But you will have some water in it for a certain amount of time that you'll be able to run far away from a water source and still be able to drink water. So I was just killed by a tech raptor. This is something that's going to happen to you if you're actually a new player. You come in and you're not paying attention. You get too close to a predator and they will hunt you down and they will murder you, and there's not really much you can do about it at first. Even if you have a spear, you'll probably just die depending on the size and strength of the predator. But fear not, you can just respawn. Do not click create new survivor. This will basically delete your character, make a new character. So go ahead and respawn random location. We will be able to control our respawn point once we get to making a house. Once you level up as well, there are sleeping bags as well as beds. So if you go into here, you'll see the hide sleeping bag. This is the first option for respawn. But so it makes, basically you put it down, it sets a respawn point, but it's only usable one time, and then the sleeping bag just blows up. If you can manage to wait it out, there's an actual bed you can get that's multi-use, and the fact that it uses hide in the beginning, later on hide's not a big deal, but when you first start, it's like you have to find something to kill that'll give you hide, basically, that won't kill you back while you're trying to kill it. So hide's really valuable in the first hour of the game for an actual new player. So if you can manage, again, I would just go around smacking things and crafting storage boxes and throwing them on the ground and stuff for a good, 10 minutes or something to get to level 10 or 11. And then just go ahead and start building everything. Also, it's important to know if you find yourself moving extremely slowly, it's because you are encumbered and you are carrying too much stuff. You can see your encumbrance at the weight right here, and the closer you are to 100, the slower you move, and then once you hit 100 or far enough above it, you won't be able to move at all. Also, a really important thing you need to know about these obnoxious green things of light, that's where you last died. So, well, not just last up, that's where you died. So that will help you find your body where you'll be able to pick up all the stuff that you dropped when you died. Which will look like this. And you can go over to it and press E, or if it's a body, you hold E and then press access and let mouse over the access inventory and let go. And when you do it, you can right click and transfer, or you can shift and then left click, double left click to take 5 at a time. Or you press the letter T on your keyboard, which is your transfer T, and you can just transfer this stuff over into your inventory like that. Also, something that's important to know is when you want to repair a broken item, you can right-click it and press repair, or press E, and then if you have the mats, it'll repair it. So it has been about 5 minutes of me crafting storage boxes, and I am now level 12, and I can craft wooden stuff. So, real quick, we'll go into crafting, we'll go into taming, and then anything else I can think to tell you. So, the making actual stuff. So you're going to need to have already researched the thatch foundations if you don't have them, or the thatch version. So if you don't have those, you can double click and then it'll warn you that you're going to buy more than what you're just clicking. If you hit accept, it'll get the thatch one and the wooden one if you don't already have the thatch version. So we're going to get a wooden foundation for now. We're going to get wooden wall, thatch wall. We'll get a ceiling, and then we will get a door frame and a door. So that's good enough to get you started. There's also going to be stairs, which are really fun to have. You can make a shield now, which is not for building. Make ramps, which are good for bigger structures and things. So now that we have all these, we can go into our crafting menu, and here they are. So in order to make them, you're going to need fiber, thatch, and wood again. No surprise there. It would also be a good idea, if you haven't already, to grab the simple bed. That's going to be a really good thing. Also, the campfire is nice, cooking pot. The bowl is something we'll get to in a minute, which is really important. And eventually you might want a small crop plot, things like that. And narcotics are actually huge, along with mortar and pestle, in order to make narcotics. But anyway, back to the building. So, now your job's going to be gathering mats again, wood and thatch. And then once you have enough of each of these, you'll go into your inventory, you'll go to the crafting one, and you'll pick what you want to build. Now, we want the foundation, which uses a ton of wood. Now, at this point, it's going to get a little tricky trying to manage encumbrance. So I need to drop these things, see if I can move now. Yeah. Managing encumbrance when building is very weird if you don't spec into weight, because you'll find yourself just over encumbered all the time. So really quick, let's just craft one. And then once it is done crafting, we can put it down on the hotbar. And now we can use it. Now, ideally, a flatter space is going to be better, or else you won't be able to build out very far without doing some weird finagling and stuff. So try to find a flat area if you don't know what you're doing. And then go ahead and place it, and there is our first foundation. And now I'm going to place a bunch of these. I'll show you the placement for the next one. So when you go to build things on this, it'll kind of just connect to the other piece. So it's pretty straightforward like this. Also, you may randomly see these. It's kind of rare, but one just so happened to appear literally right next to me. And this is a supply crate, and you won't be able to open it until a certain level. In this case, Survivor level 15, unfortunately. So we are off to a good start. So next thing we're going to need to do is put down a door. I'm also going to get the ramp to make this a little fancy. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to purchase the wooden ramp. So we're going to need a ramp, a door frame, and we're going to need a door. So you need a wooden door frame, and then you also need a wooden door. In this case, I'm going to make a ramp and make it as a walkway to get up there. And no surprise, it uses more wood, more thatch, all that. So now I'm going to put all these down on the hotbar so I can use them, or I could do them one at a time if I want to. Now this wooden ramp, I can do it like this. It'll sink into the ground, but it'll give me a walkway if I can get the lower one. There we go. So I can actually walk up to it, not to jump, just quality of life. We put down the door frame right here, and then put the door in the middle. So now we have our entrance. Press E by default to open and close it. Doors will have the ability to lock and unlock to players who are not part of your tribe. You can also set a pin code, which will make it so you can only open it by putting in the pin code. So there's a lot of fancy stuff like that. And now would be as good a time as any to craft a storage box that you're actually going to use. So that way you can more efficiently build things by emptying your inventory. So put that down on the hotbar, throw it somewhere inside of here for now. And then same kind of thing as the door. You can hold E and you can set pin codes for it. And you can go in here and then press T by default to transfer, and then just transfer everything that you don't need in order to free up inventory space, or inventory weight, I should say, so that you can more easily stack up a bunch of building materials and get this thing built faster. So now we're gonna need walls. So fiber thatch wood, I would suggest getting the fiber first because it weighs the least and you don't want to be crawling around trying to grab fiber. And now it is nighttime. There's day-night cycles in this game, and at nighttime it can get absurdly dark, although it's not very dark right now, but it actually can get even darker. So you can try to do things at night, it just kind of sucks, and this is where having a torch would be really nice. Thankfully, you can build with a torch equipped. So now we can place down these walls, although you may not want to only have the walls that I'm going to be building here. There are also walls that will have windows in them, which is a lot nicer, but it just depends on how you want to build your place. In this case, I'm just going to make a box that I'm going to put myself inside of. So yeah, you just place it like this, everything latches on. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward to build in this game. So now we're gonna put a roof on, but you don't have to. You can make this any way you want. You could make this part taller, this part shorter. You can make it 4 layers tall, then put a roof on. You can do angled things. You put staircases, ladders. I mean, building's honestly insanely fun in this game. But for simplicity, and just because it's a beginner's guide, I'm just showing you the basics. So now in theory, you know, you would make the ceiling pieces, and you would put the ceiling pieces on. You can even make them overhang to make it like have like not a porch effect, but something like that. So ideally, you'll want to make it not so claustrophobic feeling, but you get the point now. So I could finish it like that, and then I have a house. Let's take a look at something else though real fast. You go to the engram menu, there's the campfire. So go ahead and get that, and then go to the crafting menu and double click to make that if you have the mats, flint, stone, thatch, wood. Then you can put this down. You don't have to put it in your house, but in my case, I'm going to put it in my house and create a fire hazard in the corner to show you how this works. So you can hold E, and then you can, oh, that's not it. You can press E or hold E on it to get to the inventory of the fire. And now you can put in flammable materials like wood, for example. Once you have flammable materials in there, you can light the fire, which not only makes a light source, but it allows you to cook things. So you can go into here and you access inventory. I don't have any meat to put in here, unfortunately, but I would put raw meat in here, and it would slowly over time cook into cooked meat. So now we need to finally move on to dinosaurs, killing them and taming them. Also, by the way, to gain health back, just keep your food and water up. I just throw that in randomly. I don't know if I said that earlier. I was just thinking about that. All right, so the dinosaurs. Now, if you're a new player, the smartest thing you could possibly do is go ahead and get the engram for the bola. The bola is going to be super OP as hell for any new player. Now, the first one you get is going to suck because you need hide in order to get it. So in order to get your first hide, I would recommend the spear and go just run around and kill an animal. Ideally like a dodo or like a dilphosaur, which is like a tiny little spitter dinosaur, or even a parasaur, which will run away, but it won't fight back. Like, it's really obvious what dinosaur to go for. Go out and they will look as dangerous as they are. If you see a raptor, if you've ever seen dinosaurs or seen Jurassic Park, you'll know that it will kill you versus what won't fight back. It's kind of obvious. So, and if you die, you just run back, grab your stuff off your body, and then just try again until it's dead. Once you get one, go ahead and use this axe on it in order to get your first bit of hide. Once you have the hide, you can go ahead and make a bola. Once you have a bola, everything changes. So the way that a bola works, not Ebola, but a bola, is you can equip it, and then you can hold left click in order to spin it, and then let go to throw it. It is a one-time use, unfortunately, so there goes my bola. So be very careful with them because getting hide sucks until you get your next animal with them. So the bola will root the animal to the ground for 30 seconds. So when you have bolas, make sure to have more than one just in case you miss or something, and they're a great way to defend yourself against raptors or something that's trying to kill you. But you can go up to an enemy, you can spin the bola and throw it, and that will root the animal, assuming that it is small enough to be rooted. Apparently this one is a little bit too big to be rooted. But you can see on the smaller one, I threw the bola, and now he is rooted and cannot defend himself, and I could just beat him up or use him as a rock to get a trike stuck on that I could then maybe try to kill the trike. But yeah, now the animal can't defend itself, and you can just stab it to death, assuming you don't have a trike trying to kill you at the same time. Also, a lot of dinosaurs have a lot of trouble figuring out verticality, and sometimes you can cheese them with verticality potentially depending on the shape of the rock and things like that, but there's actually a decent chance if you can get it just right that you can get the dinosaur to get stuck on a rock while you just smack it in the head. That is a possibility, but it's very difficult to do with certain types of dinosaurs. Well, anyway, time to claim my prize. So in this case, early game, you'll probably want just hides. The raw meat will just be to supply you, so you're going to want to use the hatchet. Also, you can cannibalize yourself for meat, your dead bodies when you die. It's a great way to get raw meat, as crazy as that is. But you won't get hide, so you're going to have to kill dinosaurs in order to get hide. But yeah. So now we got a lot of hide, and now we're all set. I would ideally put that hide back in my storage box so I have a bunch whenever I need it. So that pretty much covers the basics of that. Now it's on to the question of taming. So to tame dinosaurs, we're gonna need a bunch of narco berries. A good way to get this is while you're walking, just hold E and just purposely walk through bushes, and you'll just grab berries as you go. So and rocks, but that's a really nice tip. Just get a bunch of narco berries without really having to go out of your way to farm it. Just remember to do this whenever you're running around. And berries don't weigh much, fibers don't weigh much, so you can do this without worrying about getting over encumbered. Now to do this, there's a few different ways to go about this. The most basic way is going to be by making a wooden club. I'm going to beat their asses. And then the other way to do it is depending, like if it's an aggressive one like a raptor, you're going to have to beat it up until you're a higher level. At level like 64 or something, you can make tranquilizer darts. But until then, you're just going to beat the hell out of it till it knocks it out. There's a stat in this game called torpidity. And if their torpidity goes high enough, then they'll knock out. And it's easily possible to knock something out, including a player, before they run out of health. So if you get a torpidity up high enough and their health, before their health goes to 0, then they'll knock out instead of dying. Then, once they're dead, you can feed them narcotics to keep them asleep. It's all very weird and morbid sounding, but yes, that is how it's going to go. Also, a good idea for long-term taming would be to get the mortar and pestle and then get the narcotic recipe and engram, and then you can craft the mortar and pestle and put it in your home. So we'll just put it wherever for now. So mortar and pestle, you can access the inventory, and in it, if you have the recipe for the narcotics, you can double click the consumables folder, drugs, and then there is the recipe for the narcotic. You'll need spoiled meat and narco berries. So narco berries is easy to get it from the bushes. Spoiled meat's a little different. So we can go to our campfire. We can, we don't have to, actually don't do the campfire, but while I'm here, let me tell you to cook. Throw in some wood and throw in some meat and light the fire. And then it will slowly cook the meat over time. And then I can take cooked meat, which is like the best way in the beginning to stay fed. Also, all meat, cooked and uncooked and all this, will spoil. So, for example, over here on the left, see the stack of 11? It tells me the spoil time. So that's not when it all spoils. That's just when the next one spoils. So in order to preserve food longer, you want to keep them in as big of stacks as possible, because every stack will spoil a meat every like 10 minutes. So if you have 10 stacks of one, then in 10 minutes they'll all be rotten. But if you have a stack of 40, in 10 minutes only one will be rotten. Well, when it rots, whether it's cooked or uncooked, cooked will also spoil. I think it takes twice as long for the cooked one to spoil. It will make spoiled meat. Once you have spoiled meat, you can take it over to the mortar and pestle, access the inventory, throw in the spoiled meat, go to the consumables, drugs, and now you can double click to craft narcotics. Or you can just use narco berries. It's all about the same efficiency. The reason you would want to make narcotics is that they don't spoil. The narco berries will spoil once every 5 or 10 minutes, I forget, 5 or 10. Whereas the narcotics will not. One narcotic uses 5 narco berries, and it has the same torpidity effect as 5 narco berries. So this is just to make them last longer. It's up to you if you just want to use berries on the fly. But longer term taming, you'll want to just have a bunch of these in storage somewhere, so you can just grab them whenever you need them. So we have spotted our prey, the Dilphosaur, I don't know how to say it. My good friend Tetsuki, who helped me brush up on my Ark Survival Evolved before making this video, referred to them as the dogs of Ark Survival Evolved. So, we are going to make a wooden club. We are going to equip a wooden club. We are going to put the wooden club in our hands. And then we are going to go beat the hell out of the thing. But what would probably be a good idea would be to use bolas, since this one's an aggressive one. I'm going to spin the bolas. And we are good to go. Now, we're going to beat the hell out of it. until it knocks out. I actually don't know offhand if headshots actually matter or not, but I'm going to smack it in the head. I'm not a complete expert. So now it has knocked out. So now we can hold E to access its inventory, and we can put narcotics in its inventory. So I'm just going to, for now, I'm just going to split off one and put one narcotic in there. And you'll be able to see its torpidity is very high. So now, in order to keep its torpidity up, you have to right-click on one of these, either narco berries I just put in here off recording, or the narcotic, and consume. This will not make you consume it, it will make the dinosaur consume it. So do that to keep its torpidity up. Now what you have to do is you have to feed this animal something that it will like. In this case, I put in food and it just instantly tamed because it is the dog of Ark Survival Evolved. Of course it would be easy. So I'm going to name it myself. So now we have Kibbles, the Dilophosaur. And as you can see, it's a female. So now we have our first dinosaur. Unfortunately, we can't ride this dinosaur, but hey, you know, we got our first dinosaur. So it has a bunch of options. We have harvest settings. You can disable it. It's complicated. Options. You can spay it so it can't breed. You can unclaim it. Oh god, I hope this trike doesn't kill me. And then ordering groups, behavior. Oh god, there's so many things. You can attack my target. You can change the distance it follows from. Targeting range. Only target conscious enemies. Or you can... Oh gosh, I have to go back over to because that won't push me away. Disable only target conscious, whatever. I mean, it's, you just go, you can enable wandering and mating. Turret mode. This trike is insanely annoying. What is he doing? So there's all that, and then there's the inventory. And so what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to behavior, and you'll want to, I think, does it actually, or like disable following? Okay, wait. I don't know if I just disabled or enabled. Enable following. Okay, it's either, well, you'll do this to figure out. Okay, it was defaulted to enable. All right, so now we have a level 19 Dilophosaur following us. So now what you would do is you would take this back to your base, and you can make a pen using walls. Later on, you have fences and things. There's all sorts of stuff to do. It's pretty straightforward. You know how to build now. You know how to tame. So we're one step closer to understanding everything we need to understand as a beginner. So this is not an ideal setup. I'd ideally want to put it in a pen, but for now, I'm just going to lock it into my house, and I am going to make sure that it has enough meat to not starve to death. They will starve to death eventually, so make sure they have enough food. But their food bar is much larger than ours, so it will stay full for a much longer period of time, so much less to worry about. And the fact that if you have it set correctly and it literally just stands still, it burns almost no food most of the time. So then what about rideable dinosaurs? How do we do that? Well, you're going to go back to those engrams, and you may have noticed these saddles. There's Phiomia saddle, parasaur saddle, Carbonemys saddle. These dinosaur names, man, I swear. Ichthyosaurus saddle, a Pachy saddle. We have a trike saddle, which... Oh my god, trike. You guys should know what that one is at this point. So it's pretty straightforward. You're going to just make a saddle for the appropriate dinosaur that you tame, and then you can throw the saddle on its back in the inventory. So this one I can't, unfortunately, ride, but you would be able to equip it to the dinosaur. You throw it in the right-click equip, I think, and then it's good to go. And then you can just jump on it and ride it. Also, dinosaurs have levels, just like we do. And whatever level you find it at will be, whatever level you tame it at, will be the equivalent of that animal's level 1, which is why he only needs like 10 XP right now. The animals can only gain, I think it was 88 levels from the level you find them. I think the highest you can find them in the wild is like 250 or 230 to 280, depends on the animal. And then you can level them up another 88 levels by just over time, or by having them fight things or harvest things, depending on the type of animal that it is. And then as they level, you'll be able to increase their stats just like you can on yourself. Also, later on, you can breed them, and then the child will be able to level up even more, and then you'll eventually be able to hit a maximum level, I think like 450 or something. It depends on the animal. But yeah, you can get them pretty damn high, and then that does make them stronger, you know, more and more stats with each level. So that's pretty cool. Another good animal to get will be dodos. Have them breed. They make eggs. Later on, you'll be able to use eggs in order to make kibble, which is going to be a lot better for feeding your animals and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not actually going to do this right now to the dodo, but it's going to be the same thing, keeping it asleep, putting berries in here so that it gains happiness with you or whatever, and then it will tame. Also, I want my berries back. I'm going to kill this dodo. Another great animal to tame are these flying ones. You just have to wait till they hit the ground, and then you're going to want to get them with a bola, and then knock them out and do the same process. These ones, if you have them leveled up enough and all that, you can fly on them, which will get you access to new resources on top of basically invulnerability when you are, running around. Because when you're on foot, raptors and T-Rexes and random stuff can try to murder you. But obviously, if you're flying, the only thing that can try to murder you are other flying animals. Specifically, the owls are very hostile. Also, later on with animals, consider at level 18, you unlock the feeding trough. You can put that down in the animal pen and just throw a bunch of berries and meat and random stuff in it, and the animals will feed from it automatically, so you don't have to manually fill them up. You can just fill up the troughs and just leave it be. Another good thing for early taming is a slingshot. It also does some serious blunt damage, does torpidity, so then you can just make it using wood, hide, and fibers, and it will shoot just stones, so just carry a bunch of stones with you. So here's our chance at catching the flying dinosaur. Hopefully it doesn't fly away. And I whiffed, unfortunately. Hopefully it doesn't fly away before I craft another one of these. Let's try this closer. All right, so now I can sit here and beat the hell out of it. All right, and now it's unconscious. Same thing as before. I mean, you guys get it at this point. Throw a bunch of berries in there. Throw my narcotics in there. I don't have my narco berries on me. I left them on the dodo and then killed it, and it didn't give me my... I don't know how that worked out, but okay. And then, yeah, you would just check in on it every now and then, make sure that its torpidity is staying where it is, and then the way that this works in a little more detail is its food will go down, and then once its food goes down enough, it will eat from what's on its inventory, and it will just keep doing that until eventually, every time it does that, it becomes more tame, and then eventually it will tame itself. So all you have to do is make sure that it stays knocked out, either by beating its ass with a club or feeding it narcotics or narco berries. Also, I found my narco berries. They were on my hot bar. Be aware of that. That can happen. Now it's just the same thing. It just takes freaking forever for some dinosaurs, so... best thing to do is to try to do somewhere safe, put some spikes around him, or just like build an enclosure around the downed animal so another animal doesn't come by and eat it. And then just, like, if it's close enough to your base, just go do stuff and come back every like 3 minutes or 5 minutes and then stuff more berries down his throat or whatever. Also, wow, that is Ark Survival Evolved. Also, I totally forgot, you don't tame these with berries. They don't even eat berries. They're actually meat eaters, so I'm going to go grab some meat. Okay, so then you put some meat in there. And I'm going to feed it some meat. So Ark Survival Evolved has been out for like 7 years. There's actually a taming calculator. There's tons of them. And this thing should take like 25 minutes to tame and should use around 10 raw meat. So that's what we can expect in this situation. So we're going to kind of just skip this for now. You guys get the point. And don't forget to keep feeding it narco berries or beating the hell out of it because, oh my goodness, it is going to be a grind. Like 25 minutes of this, you're going to need a lot of narco berries or a lot of narcotics, which is why I suggested stocking up on narco berries and just... stocking about narco berries, making a ton of narcotics, having those sitting in a storage box somewhere so that you don't have to go gather narco berries on the fly as you're doing this to a dinosaur. Okay, so the taming calculator was just dead ass wrong. So it only took like 3 minutes actually. So, oh my god. Was that the name of the dinosaur from the Land Before Time? Whatever, Petrie. All right. So now we have our first... pteranodon. I don't know how to say the flyer's name, dude. I have no idea. Now, unfortunately, this dinosaur is... I can't ride it till I'm level 38. You will unlock the saddle at level 38. It's going to be all the way down here at 38. There it is. So that's not happening on this video, unfortunately. But yeah, this will be a fun one when you put the saddle on to ride it around. For now, I'm just going to take it back to my house and go see if I can... It's actually too big to stuff in my house, so I may just kill it. I don't even know. I don't really care about it right now. I mean, he actually might just make a really nice bodyguard. He's just going to fly around me, and if I set him to defend me, he could at least be nice to have around since he's literally just going to hang out like this. So now we need to tame a trike, and there's a reason for this. We want to gather berries and fibers faster. I'll show you how. So we have a backup. I think he's stuck because I think a tree spawned inside of him, so he can't move. But if he does move, we have a trap set up at our base I'll talk about in a second. So let's see if he can move. I set my my flyer, my pteranodon or whatever, pteranodon to passive, so he won't make an idiot of himself and try to kill things. But yeah, so this one's just done. He is done because he has a tree spawned inside of him. So he actually can't defend himself. Unless I get close enough for him to attack, you can probably destroy the tree. But, you know, we're just going to spam him. And I really wish this pteranodon would stop getting in the way. It is so insane. The other way we can do this would be to lure him to my base and then have a way for me to shoot down at him while he tries to destroy walls. And then, there's a lot of ways, okay? You can make a trap, actually. Which I'll probably not going to show in this video. I'll probably see that for a tips and tricks video. So I went to make another slingshot and he just escaped somehow. So I'm going to try my trap out, which would be to have him beat this up. My trap was not set up though. And my dog is going to go fight him now and die. So that's not good. This is pretty good. Oh my God, my flyer is going to get me killed. He's actually trying to push me into him. I have to hold S to not get killed because my flyer is trying to push me into him. But yeah, he's trying to get through the door, but he can't. That's like another good way to get him, but you can generally just make this work with some patience. Once he gets this stupid and weak, and he tries to walk away, you can actually just go ahead and just club him down, honestly. Just to save yourself stones, because I literally lobbed like 150 stones at him. So, just to save yourself the effort of having to go and get more stones, you can just literally beat his ass when he tries to ignore you like this. And now he's unconscious. Okay. So, it takes a lot for a trike, but, well, for, you know, at beginner stage of the game, it takes a lot for the trike. But now we can go ahead and throw a bunch of berries in here, which I'm going to have to go and get narc berries off of my flyer who won't sit still, and we'll get this figured out. Well, taming that totally sucked, but it didn't take very long. I think it's been about 5 minutes for this one, too. So, I don't remember the name of the trike in Land Before Time, so we'll name him Trike. So now we have a trike. All right, this is the last one we're gonna be taking a look at here. So we just need to make a trike saddle, which was here. So I'm gonna learn that recipe, and then you're going to go to your trike saddle. I need to get an obscene amount of hide and wood. Well, I'm gonna have to go kill something. So you gotta be really careful with your animals in this. I tried to kill a turtle, and yeah, the trike started attacking the turtle, and then the turtle killed the trike right as the trike killed the turtle, and then these guys came by and they ate the carcasses, so I don't get the hide from them. I gotta go tame another trike, and welcome to Ark Survival Evolved. Also, it's important to know that when I died on accident during that, because the little guys, I wasn't paying attention, the little guys started eating me when I was 1 HP, and this, the flyer, the pteranodon or whatever, it stayed there, and it literally just stood still like this, and it was going to... Oh my gosh, it's going to do it. Yeah, we're just going to lose it because now it's not following me for some reason, and I can't seem to... Okay, whatever, that worked out. He was guarding it with his wing while it was killing him. You can see how things can get real weird real fast. I don't know how, but somehow this thing got following disabled. Just, I don't know, it was literally following me like 2 seconds ago, so things get weird. Be ready to have, you know, your share of frustrations in this game, but it's a pretty fun game, so yeah. Also, the trike saddle for my dead trike. We can go ahead and make this now, and yeah, so we would put that on the thing's back, and then we could ride it. Something important that I wanted to point out that I'd completely forgotten about is there's a tranquilizer arrow at level 21. I could have sworn there was something like this, and it turns out there is. So starting from level 21, you can just shoot arrows at dinosaurs and then just knock them out like that. It will be a lot easier than what I did to the trike. So now I'm going to make a bunch of tranquilizer arrows, which means I need a bunch of narcotics. What I can do is take this raw meat and I can split it like this in my inventory into stacks of 1 like I talked about earlier. And now when one of them rots, they will all rot, which will give me a ton of spoiled meat to use in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Also, while I'm waiting for that, you can actually tame some animals by just feeding them. So these guys, for example, I can put berries onto my last item slot right here, and then I can just press E to feed it the berry. Doing this will obviously make it not hungry anymore. You have to wait till it's hungry again, so you'll just have to like keep track of it or like wall it in or something like that and trap it somehow, and then just feed it every like, what, minute or 2, something like that. And then you'll eventually tame it. So now it's been 3 minutes and it's all spoiled meat. So now I can go ahead and put this into the mortar and pestle. And that combined with the narco berries, I can make a ton of narcotics now. While I'm waiting for that, I should get the arrows ready because I'll need stone arrows to make tranquilizer arrows, and stone arrows use fiber, flint, and thatch. Easy farms. Also, important to mention, you'll need the bow as well, which is a prereq of the slingshot. Also important to note, to equip an arrow, drag it onto the bow that's on your hotbar. So stone arrows are equipped, now trank arrows are equipped. With that out of the way, we have found the last trike in the area. How many trank arrows does it take to get to the center of a trike? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I was lazy and I should have just ran. 9. Those are stone arrows. It defaults stone arrows when you pick everything back up. 9, 10, 11. He's looking groggy. 12, 13. I don't want to go into the water and get eaten by a giant prehistoric shark. I lost count. I think 14 or something. 15. Oh my goodness, it's a lot of trank arrows for a trike at least. All right, so it was like 15 maybe if I wouldn't have died, something like that, of trank arrows to knock out a trike. So that may help you in your journey of taming a trike. Well, this triceratops is only level 1, which is unfortunate. We lost the better one. But hey, this one's green. And now he's tamed. Green trike. So, now that we have the green trike and we have a saddle, finally, let's go ahead and saddle him up. So, you'll press E to equip a saddle. You'll drag the saddle over into there. Right-click it, click equip. Now he's got a saddle. Now you press E to ride. And there you go. This is what it's like to ride a dinosaur. Now, a trike is not necessarily the greatest dinosaur in the game. If you could tame anything early game, the most fun one to tame is going to be a raptor. If you find a raptor, try to lead it to your base without getting murdered or something, or beat it with a club before it kills you. Good luck. And then, or use trank arrows on it or whatever. Also, so a trike is really good for farming mats. Look at the left of those mats farmed with the trike. Think about how long it takes to do that by hand. So that is one of the big benefits of having a trike, or any of these herbivore ones, is they can just gather berries for you. Although I think he's terribly over encumbered now. Let me get off him and take a look. Don't forget that your dinosaurs can also become over encumbered. He's getting close to it. I'm gonna up his weight with his level. He's already gained 2 levels. But yeah. So that is dinosaurs. That is everything that you need to know to get started on the taming part for this game. Oh, and I should probably make sure you're aware, at the very top right of the screen, you'll be able to see your dinosaur stats. And that's how you can keep track of like their stamina bar and know when they're not going to be able to run anymore, stuff like that. And that's a parasaur, by the way. The parasaur is like the horse. It's basically a horse. So it's the easiest one to tame as far as like relative utility for an herbivore. So if you see one of those, definitely go for that. Easier to knock out than this, and faster than this. And some last things to talk about. So the parasaur, now you can see it's like much like the horse. This is a level 1, so you can get it to run faster by leveling up its movement speed. But yeah, much better than the trike for mobility. Though not as fast as a raptor. Raptors are way faster. Other than that, I did want to talk about once you hit level 24, you'll unlock stone. And then you'll be able to make your house out of stone, which will make it a lot better. Also, in these engrams, you'll eventually get hide clothes, and then you'll eventually get fur clothes. Also, in level 20, you'll be able to get the refining forge, which will let you turn metal into metal bars and things. You'll use smithy to make metal picks, metal hatchets, and from there, slowly, go through higher level crafting things. You can find metal from picking at rocks with a pickaxe and things. But yeah, that's pretty much, that's it. At this point, we're going beyond beginner. Now we're getting to the point of, like, advanced players. So, that's everything I think to tell you as a new player, what you should be doing, how to get started. I mean, if you watch this whole video, by this point, you know how to play Ark, okay? From here, everything else I would tell you is kind of just spoiler. I mean, they kind of spoil some stuff, though. I might want to talk about it real fast. Would be irrigation, and you can use irrigation along with crop plots in order to grow crops and things, and that's just something, I'll let you figure out on your own, or maybe I'll make a guide for it all by itself someday. Probably not, maybe. But yeah, so that's it for the beginner's guide. Yeah, that's everything you need to know in order to get started in this game. How to level up, how to tame dinosaurs, how to make tools, how to everything to get started. So hopefully that helped you out. Hopefully there's some good tips and tricks in this to help get you started. Hopefully now you'll have a better idea of how to play Ark Survival Evolved.